Sportscast.
What is up, guys? We are back. It's your boy Effie with Any Action Sportscast, here to go over UFC 293. Sean Strickland versus Israel Adesanya. This is going to be a crazy pay-per-view. Not the best one we've had all year, but we are coming off a winning week at UFC Paris, so we're going to try to keep the winning ways going, where we did collect 2.23 units last week. It was a nice profitable week for us, and we're going to try to keep it going on this card. A lot of wide money lines, so we're going to have to approach this with some props or some parlays, and I don't know if a lot of these heavy favorites are parlayable. So let's get right into the very first fight. Top down, we're going to start with the main event. Israel Adesanya takes on Sean Strickland in the main event for the middleweight title. And yeah, man, this line is crazy. So Adesanya comes in at minus 700, Strickland at plus 500 on the comeback. And right away, you get priced out. There's no way you can lay, minus 700 straight on Adesanya. And there's really no point of putting him on a parlay at minus 700. It's not really going to do much for your parlay. So you got to approach the fight as props like over-unders or method of victory. And obviously here I'm going with Adesanya to win this fight. He's way better than Sean Strickland at MMA. There's a huge gap in skill set here in my eyes, especially in the footwork department. I think that Sean Strickland is very flat-footed. He's going to be coming forward all fight, throwing out a lot of volume, throwing out a lot of jabs. And Adesanya is just going to be dancing around and picking him apart. And I actually think that right when the fight starts, Adesanya is going to really chop down heavy on those leg kicks and really try to get to that lead leg of Strickland. Because like I said, man, he is pretty flat-footed. He comes forward. And that's the thing. Sean Strickland has no real legitimate threat to Adesanya in this fight. I feel like Adesanya's biggest threat is not taking Sean seriously, not taking this fight seriously. And it just comes down to, how is Adesanya going to win this fight? Is he going to win a decision, a 5-round dominant decision? Or is he going to, at one point, finish Sean Strickland? And both these guys actually have some pretty good striking defense. Sean Strickland has that weird, almost like Philly shell boxing roll where he has both hands in front of him and that lead shoulder out. And he does bite a lot on feints. He parries hands a lot, his opponent's hands. He does a lot of hand fighting, and he does bite to a lot of feints. But he does keep his hands pretty high, and I just think that Izzy is going to be able to figure him out relatively quickly here. And so I do worry about laying over 3.5 or laying over 4.5 here, because I actually think that Adesanya is live for a knockout, man. The back and forth they're having during fight week, all the trash talk, it just adds to the fact that I think that Adesanya is really motivated to knock this guy out. And I feel like Adesanya is just going to be so hard to get to, so hard to hit, whereas you're just going to have a fight where Sean Strickland is just chasing and chasing and chasing, and Adesanya circling and picking them apart. So I am ultimately going to go with Adesanya to win via knockout in that 3rd or 4th round. I am going to go with a head kick here, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it come from a straight jab after he picks apart Sean Strickland. So, Sean's a pretty durable guy. Most of his 5-round fights do go to decision. So I know Adesanya via TKO is plus 130. Him to win via decision is plus 110. So maybe between those two, that's the way I go. But for my pick, I am going to pick and still Israel Adesanya, middleweight champion of the world, via 4th round knockout. And in the second fight, in the co-main event, we have a banger. A favorite that I think is on upset alert. We have Tuivasa taking on Alexander Volkov. Tuivasa comes in at plus 180, and Alexander Volkov getting ballooned from minus 200 to minus 250. So in this fight, I am going to go with the underdog. I am picking Tuivasa to knock out Volkov, but I totally understand anyone out there betting on Volkov, betting him to win via knockout, because this matchup is, going to be a banger. Someone's going to get slept early in this fight, but it's weird because both guys are actually relatively durable. I know Tuivasa is coming off 2 straight knockouts where he got, a lot of damage landed on him. And Volkov, he's gotten finished twice in the UFC by 2 killers, man. And I really don't think that, it's just tough, because I think that it comes down to those front kicks. Those front kicks by Volkov it's going to be hard for Tuivasa to deal with. We saw him, get hurt to the body by Cyril Gane, but we also saw Tuivasa drop Cyril Gane and clip him bad. So I think that Tuivasa will be able to get inside and eventually catch Volkov here. It's just that it has to happen early, because if this fight gets extended, I think that Volkov is going to be able to finish him in that 2nd or 3rd round. So if I am going to bet this fight, I am probably going to bet Tuivasa moneyline, because I think that he will knock out Volkov. I know Volkov is very, very durable, and so that over 1.5 is kind of tricky, man. Tuivasa has got that, Samoan chin. And then Volkov is just super tall, 6'7" Russian that rarely ever gets finished. He's super, super durable. But the way they fight, I feel like someone will get finished. Tuivasa has been finished in all of his losses, been knocked out in all of his losses. So I think that this fight ends in knockout under 1.5, but I do think that the win comes from Tuivasa. And up next is a banger of a fight. We have a flyweight fight between Manel Starboy Kape and Felipe dos Santos, man. So this is an interesting fight because Manel Kape is like championship level worthy in my opinion. He's a very skilled fighter, very well rounded. This dude is legit. He's the truth. And I didn't mention the money line, but he is minus 400 on the money line. Super wide favorite here. And Dos Santos making his debut, coming in at plus 290. And this one is justified in my opinion. This wide line does make sense, and I do agree with it. And I wish I would have been able to jump on Kape a little earlier in the week and parlay him with someone else. But at minus 400, man, I can't touch it. I'm priced out again, man. This line's so wide, so I gotta look at that, over under or a prop here. I do think that Manel Kape's gonna win via knockout in this fight. I think that he's gonna be able to finish Dos Santos in this fight. I do like under 2.5 rounds. I don't see this fight going distance because the way Kape fights is he's okay with being a counter striker, man. Earlier in his UFC career, he was low output, man. It was strange to watch him fight because he's a risen champion overseas, comes to the UFC, gets Alexander Pantoja in his debut, who's the current UFC champion, and he doesn't do anything. The first couple fights in the UFC, he struggled with the low output. He seems to figure it out more recently, and he's getting some highlight finishes, man. This dude's legit, super fast striker, super technical, super cerebral striker. He knows what he's doing, good footwork, good switch dances here. This dude can do it all. This guy's the truth, man. This guy's a problem. And we just saw him get that submission against Dvorak where he almost ripped his arm off, really. And so I know he's good on the mat, too. Whereas Dos Santos, who was supposed to be on Dana White Contender Series a few weeks ago, his opponent missed weight or something or got canceled and pulled out of the fight. And they kept him at the PI and ended up giving him Manel Kape on short notice on a pay-per-view in Australia. And I just think that the cards are just stacked so against this Dos Santos kid. But the thing is, the way he fights, he's going to go forward, man. He's going to meet Kape in the center of the ring, or center of the octagon, I should say. I think it's very good striking, man. I like this guy. He's very, very young. And just the gap in experience here by Kape, going toward Kape here. I just can't go with anything else other than a Manel Kape finish here early. I think that he knocks this kid out, and nothing against him, man, but this is just too tall of a task from the regional scene to now finding Manel Kape on a pay-per-view, on short notice, on a main card. I think he comes from a good gym, comes from Shoot Box out of Brazil, very good training partners like Charles Oliveira, but this kid is well-rounded, but he's a brawler, man. This guy's going to go forward and make this a war. It's going to be an exciting fight. The fans are going to love the fight, but I think that Manel Kape will be able to counter-strike this guy and clip him and put him out. I'm going to go with a second-round knockout. And that's one thing I've noticed. I always pick second-round knockouts when I do pick knockouts, so I got to get better at that. But up next, man, we have a sloppy heavyweight fight, a rematch between Justin Tafa and Austen Lane, man. Justin Tafa comes in 6-3 as the favorite at minus 240. Austen Lane comes in as an underdog, 12-3 at plus 195. And like I said, this is a rematch. So these guys were fighting last time, and it only lasted about 30 seconds before Austen Lane landed a vicious eye poke on Justin Tafa, and the fight had to get canceled and stopped. So now they're rebooking it here in Justin Tafa's backyard, and the line is even wider than it was before. So earlier in that first match, you could have got Justin Tafa around minus 170, and now he's around minus 250. So it's already like, dang, like you're getting a way worse price. But it's funny because I had Tafa in that last fight. I had money on him to win that last fight against Austen Lane. And I'm not gonna lie, man, after 30 seconds, I did not feel good, man. I felt like Austen Lane looked very comfortable, looked very good, throwing a ton of kicks, ripping the body of Justin Tafa with those kicks. And just the size difference here is kind of crazy, man. And I am going to switch my pick. I know I had Justin Tafa in that last fight. We just saw his brother Tafa Gang get that win for us a couple weeks ago. But I'm going with Austen Lane, the former NFL player here. He's just so long and tall. I do get he's 35 years old and he could get chinned here. It's funny, man. Sometimes you don't got to overthink it, and Justin Tafa via knockout probably is the way to go. But I saw that prop was around minus 150, and that's a lot of juice to be paying on a prop to win via knockout. So maybe I am overthinking this, but I am going to go with Austen Lane, man. Like I said, I know it was only 30 seconds, and I know that fight was a while ago, and this fight is in Australia. But he looked fine. He looked totally fine. I wasn't comfortable. I wasn't sitting there thinking good about my bet. And I know a lot of people are going to be on Justin Tafa via knockout, and that probably is the way to go. But I'm going with my gut. I am picking Austen Lane to win via third-round knockout in this fight. And up next, we have the pay-per-view opener, a light heavyweight fight between Tyson Pedro and Anton Turkalj. The Pleasure Man, what a nickname. This line is on its way to flipping. So Tyson Pedro was at one point minus 120, minus 125. Pleasure Man was around plus 120. And now a lot of money's been coming in on Pleasure Man to where he is -110, Pedro -105. So I think we might see plus money here on Pedro soon. But it makes sense, man. I actually do agree with this line movement here. It's because Tyson Pedro, I mean, in that first round, he's probably going to be whooping on Turkalj here. The Pleasure Man has no striking defense here, and he's fighting a very dangerous striker in Tyson Pedro. But that's the thing. He just has to survive that first round, that first wave from Pedro, because in every single fight that Pedro's had, he seems to, not seems, he does fade after that first round. He just becomes zapped. He loses all his energy, loses all the pop on his punches, and definitely loses his output. So if Turkalj can just survive that first round, he should be able to take over as this fight goes. It's just about surviving that first round, that first wave. And we saw Tyson Pedro really drop the ball as a big favorite in his last fight against Makdessi Bukauskas. Before that, he beat up on some cans. So I'm not really impressed by him beating Harry Hunsucker and Ike Villanueva. The Modestus fight, he did come out and say he had staph or he was sick or something like that. So that kind of explains why he looked so bad. But, man, I really can't trust the guy. I know he's going to look really good in that first round, which does scare me, man. He's 4 years older than Turkalj here. He's an inch shorter with an inch longer of reach. He's out of a good camp. He's with City Kickboxing now with Adesanya in them. But, man, it's just tough because if I'm picking Pedro, I need him to win that first round because if he doesn't win that first round, he's probably going to lose this fight. So I am going to go with Turkalj, man. Give me the Pleasure Man to win this fight, going with my gut and avoiding getting knocked out in that first round. And I do think that he's going to get the back and submit Pedro in that second round. Up next, we have a light heavyweight fight between Carlos Ulberg and Jung. Carlos the Blackjack Ulberg comes in as a favorite at -300, to whereas Jung comes in as an underdog at +235. Now, we got to talk about this money line because I looked at this fight. I saw it was on the card. I know both these guys well. And I thought, all right, what's the money line? What are the odds? And when I saw Carlos Ulberg at -250, I thought, you know what? That's a little bit too much. I expected him to be around -200, -195, -205, around -200. And I see him at -250, right? And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to lay off. I'm going to pass, even though I do think he's going to win the fight. But then I see him at -300 today. So then I'm like, whoa, what's going on? Like, everybody's parlaying this guy. Everyone's laying it big on Carlos Ulberg. And I get it, man. So Jung, he's a good fighter, man. I feel like a lot of people are disrespecting him this week. He's coming off 2 losses where he did get finished by Jacoby, which was a terrible look. And in his most recent fight against Devin Clark, that was a horrible performance, man. He looked terrible in his last 2 performances, so I understand all the hate that he's getting. And he's fighting a very sophisticated, very good, very sharp, very fast kickboxer in Carlos Ulberg, man. There should be a fight between 2, deadly strikers where it's just about who's going to be able to implement their game plan. We've never really seen Jung wrestle here offensively other than that William Knight fight, but William Knight has a totally different body frame and body build than Carlos Ulberg. And Carlos Ulberg has never really defended takedowns and been off his back. So what does this fight look like if Carlos Ulberg does eventually get on his back, gets extended along the cage, off his back for, extended minutes here? It's just tough because I haven't really seen enough wrestling out of Jung to think that he's going to be able to do that here against Carlos Ulberg. And yeah, man, Carlos Ulberg's been putting on a pretty good run here. He seems to be a real deal prospect. Very good striking, like I said, very good power. As long as he doesn't blow his wad early, like he did against Nchekwu, he should be fine here. So give me Carlos Ulberg to win this fight via first round knockout. I feel he's going to catch him early here, and I think that the crowd's going to be going crazy. It's a big theme on the card. A lot of these guys from this part of the world are going to be winning. A lot of the city kickboxing guys are going to be winning. But this line is wide, guys, man. I am not parlaying here. And if I did, I wish I would have got on him at -250 because at -300, there's no way I'm touching it. So give me Carlos Ulberg, round 1 knockout. And up next is a featherweight fight between Jack Jenkins and Chepe Mariscal. Jenkins comes in as a favorite at -220. Mariscal, the underdog, the comeback at +175. This is going to be a banger of a fight in the featherweight division. And I actually think that the underdog is live to win this fight. So Jack Jenkins, man, he is very good striker, very smart striker, very, very good leg kicks, especially to the calf. He could really do damage to the calf. Has decent enough wrestling, but to me, that fight against Don Shainis was a little too close for my liking, man. Don Shainis 2 fights ago, someone that I really don't think is a high-level fighter, a UFC caliber fighter, you could say. And he got reversed in that fight on the mat, and that's not a very good look. But in his most recent fight against Jamal Emmers, you could argue he lost that fight. Round 3 definitely went to Jamal Emmers. Round 1, you can say, went to Jack Jenkins, and it all comes down to how you scored round 2. But Jenkins, to me, man, He's gonna have to keep this on the feet because if Chepe Mariscal takes him down, I actually think he's gonna have the grappling advantage. And Chepe is a dog, man. I know he doesn't have that good of a striking defense, coming his way. He made his debut up a weight class on short notice against Trevor Peek. So this tells you right there. And first of all, he won his underdog, but two, he has that dog in him, dude. This guy is a dog. This guy is a savage. He's gonna be going forward, and he has a very good chin, man. This guy has heart. And so I really doubt that Jack Jenkins is going to be able to finish Chepe Mariscal with those leg kicks. So he's definitely going to have to at least immobilize him. So there's no way Mariscal is going into this fight without knowing he has to check those leg kicks. And on the feet, it's pretty 50-50. I do lean Jack Jenkins having the striking edge here. But on the mat, man, I think that I have to go with Chepe Mariscal to have the advantage there. I know I said that Mariscal is a live dog, and this line is a little bit wide, but I am going to go ultimately with Jack Jenkins to win a decision here in this fight. I don't mind anyone taking a shot on the underdog here at Chepe Mariscal, man. We just saw him fight Trevor Peek, like I said, but Trevor Peek is more of a brawler type fighter. He has way less technique than Jack Jenkins. But dude, Jack Jenkins hasn't really impressed me in his 2 UFC wins either, so I'm not going to lay minus 220, no way on him. I'm not parlaying him, no way. But I do think that Jack Jenkins, wins this fight a 3-round decision with the overhitting. Up next, we have a lightweight fight between Jamie Mullarkey and John Makdessi. Jamie Mullarkey comes in as a massive minus 265 favorite, whereas John Makdessi comes in as the underdog at plus 215. And I get it, man. Jamie Mullarkey has a lot going for him in this fight. The age, the height and reach. He is 9 years younger here in this fight. He has a 4-inch height advantage and a 4-inch reach advantage. And overall, I just think that he's a better fighter here. John Makdessi, he likes to be off that back foot. He lets his, opponents be the ones going forward and be the ones dictating the fight, kind of. Because John looks to counterpunch, man. The only way I really see Jamie Mullarkey losing this fight is getting knocked out. And I don't think that John Makdessi is the guy to knock him out. We did see Michael Johnson just 2 or 3 fights ago really clip Jamie Mullarkey bad. And then Jamie Mullarkey lost as a massive favorite in his last fight via knockout. Against that Muhammad Naimov guy, where he just got caught, man. He was winning that fight up until that knockout. He actually didn't look bad. And I just think that size, that youth, and the overall output by Jamie should be there here, man. John, like I said, he's been known to be on that back foot most of the fight, and he's just comfortable counterpunching. And I think that Jamie's just ahead on the points. And yeah, man, and work to winning a decision here. So give me Jamie Mullarkey to win a decision here. At minus 275, I get it, man. But I've missed the line, man. I'm super late on a lot of these money lines here. But I do think that the over-under is pretty safe here. I really don't see either guy getting finished. If someone does get finished, it's probably be Makdessi. Even though, like I said, Jamie Mullarkey has been rocked in 2 out of his last 3 fights. But I don't think that Makdessi is going to be able to be the guy to do it. Give me Jamie Mullarkey to win via decision. Up next, we have a massive favorite again. Nasrat Haqparast in the lightweight division taking on Landon Quinones. Haqparast comes in at minus 410, a massive favorite. Quinones making his UFC debut on short notice, coming in at plus 320. So right away, I am going to go with Nasrat Haqparast. I know Landon because of the Ultimate Fighter, but it's funny, man. He fought on the Ultimate Fighter the most recent season with Conor and Michael Chandler, but he only fought for about like 90 seconds. He got submitted in that first round. And it didn't look good, man. I'll be honest, it didn't look good. But his regional tape, he does look better, obviously. But I just don't think that he has anything that Nasrat hasn't seen, man. Nasrat's been in the UFC for a while. He's kind of a failed prospect. I was pretty high on him before he got kind of wrecked by Drew Dober and then wrecked by Dan Hooker. But if you're not a top, 15 guy, top 25 guy in the division, I really don't think that you're going to beat Nasrat. And I really don't think Lando is that guy. And I'm kind of shocked he's in the UFC, honestly, taking this fight. They needed to fill this card out, with some more fights. So they moved Nasrat to this fight card. Give me Nasrat Haqparast early finish, man. I think he gets this guy out of here in that first round. I really don't think he's going to submit Lando, but I think that the takedowns will be there throughout the fight. And I do think that he's going to be able to catch him. I think that the striking here from Nasrat is just too good. Give me Nasrat round 1 knockout to cover that line. But you can't gamble it, man. Minus 400. Like, what are you even doing parlaying it, Up next, we have a welterweight fight between Blood Diamond and Chuck Buffalo. Mike Mathena comes in as a underdog plus 195, plus 200 around that area. Charlie Radtke comes in as a massive favorite minus 295, almost minus 300. And yeah, man, that line is crazy, crazy wide, but I get it, man. People cannot stop betting against Blood Diamond. It's because it's a cash cow. This guy's 0-2 in the UFC, 3-2 as a pro MMA fighter. It's like, what are we even doing? Why is he in the UFC? And it turns out he is Israel Adesanya's boy, same gym. And And, I guess he got signed to the UFC because of that as a favorite. He is 35 years old, super old. 0-2 in the UFC, and he has not looked good, man. He lost to Jamal Emmers, where Jamal Emmers straight up started the fight, ran around in a circle, and fell down. And Blood Diamond still lost that fight. Charlie Radtke, more of he's 7-3 as a pro, but he's more of a striker. It's funny because I saw how wide this line was, and I was expecting to see a lot of wrestling out of Charlie Radtke's tape or whatever, but he doesn't really wrestle that much, man. He has pretty good jiu-jitsu, but he actually seeks to strike more. So if he wants to have a 15-minute striking fight with Blood Diamond, I think that line is crazy, crazy wide. I get it. Blood Diamond is up there in age, and he can't wrestle. This guy cannot grapple. He's going to look terrible on the mat if he does get there. But, I mean, at some point, he has to come through, and I'm actually going to pick Blood Diamond to win this fight. I know Charlie Radtke is probably going to destroy this dude and finish him in that first round, but I don't think that all the favorites are going to be able to come through again, just like they did last card at UFC Paris. I need to pick at least a couple underdogs, and at this line where I know a guy in Charlie Radtke, he likes to strike, man. This guy is a striker. There's very good kicks, very sophisticated striking, good hands and good combinations, and good defensive striking. He's comfortable on the feet. And that's the realm where Mike Matheny is best at. If he is smart, Charlie Radtke will change levels and get Blood Diamond down and probably have an easy win, probably submit him thereafter. But give me Blood Diamond to put the City Kickboxing guys in a good mood, get the vibes up, and win via 3-round decision. And up next, we might have a City Kickboxer losing here, guys. We have Shane Young taking on Gabriel Miranda in the featherweight division. Shane Young comes in, as the favorite. This line is also moving. He is minus 165 earlier in the week, and now he is all the way to, let me check. No, he stayed minus 175. All right, so not a lot of money coming on Shane Young, and I get it. Gabriel Miranda plus 140 on the other side. And yeah, so Shane Young needs to keep this fight on the feet. And if he can, he's going to win this fight fairly easily. I think that the striking here goes to Shane Young. Better output, better striking, really. But it's just that he hasn't looked good in the UFC, and he's losing to pretty low-level guys. Whereas Gabriel Miranda is more of a grappler, pretty submission or bust here in this spot. Is going to need to take Shane Young down and do a lot of work on the mat, because on the feet, I think that he will get clipped up by Shane Young, especially as the fight goes. Gabriel Miranda, tends to fade as the fight goes on, so I think that Shane Young's going to win this fight, but I wouldn't be shocked to see him getting taken down and kind of mauled on the mat here, just like Blood Diamond. I think they put him on the lower part of the card for a reason. A lot of these lower level prelim fights are a little, more low level in general in terms of MMA skill, but give me Shane Young to win this fight. I know there's a case for Gabriel Miranda, especially via submission here, but give me Shane Young to win this fight via decision, and not super confident in that one. I might have to take a closer look, but I am going with Shane Young. Don't feel great about that. And for the very first fight of the night, we have two guys making their UFC debut in the welterweight division. We have Kevin Jousset taking on Kiefer Crosbie. Jousset comes in at minus 135. Kiefer Crosbie comes in at plus 110. I am going to go with Kevin Jousset to win a decision in this fight. Not a lot to say about this fight. A fight between two strikers where I think that it's going to be coming down to who throws more output. I think both guys are actually a pretty low volume in terms of how much strikes they throw per round, but I think that Kevin Jousset should win this fight. Not a lot to say about this fight. Not overly confident in this fight. Not going to be betting on this fight. Definitely not betting this money line or prop over under or anything like that. Go ahead and sit back and watch this fight as a fan. No need to bet on this fight. No strong opinion. Give me Kevin Jousset to win via decision. So yeah, man, that'll do it for our UFC 293 preview. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let me know what you think about this card. What are your best bets? How are you approaching it with these wide money lines? Coming off a week where we won 2.23 units, feeling good, trying to keep it going. Like I said, good luck on your bets, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace and still.